Okay, so let's get right into it. There's this feeling that a lot of successful people get, maybe in their late 30s, 40s, or early 50s. It's quiet, it's kind of private, and honestly, it can be really unsettling. It's something we're just not prepared for. So today, we're going to break down exactly what it is, why it happens, and how you can navigate it without, blowing up your entire life.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? This isn't some big, dramatic explosion. It's more like a slow burn. It's this little question that just pops into your head during the quiet moments, maybe on your commute home or on a Sunday night. And it's a question we just keep finding reasons to ignore because, well, answering it just feels way too complicated.
And there it is. That's the question. Is this it? What's so weird about it is that it's not usually asked out of despair. Despair at least has some fire to it, right? No, this is different. It's asked with this kind of flat, almost academic curiosity that's somehow even more unnerving. You've done everything you were supposed to do. You've climbed the ladder, and now you're just looking around thinking, is this what this was all about?
So what does this actually feel like?
Well, here's the crazy part. It often shows up when, on paper, everything is going great. You're not exactly unhappy. The job pays the bills, you're getting good results, you've got the right title, but something just feels off.
Now, this is a really important distinction. This isn't about being an imposter or faking it. You're good at your job, probably really good, but it's starting to take more and more conscious effort to actually care. You have to give yourself these little internal pep talks just to stay motivated. The work that used to feel like an extension of you now feels more like a role you have to play every day.
And here we get to the absolute heart of it. The problem usually isn't the job. The company's fine, the tasks are fine, the externals are fine. The source of this whole disconnect, it's internal. The work has pretty much stayed the same, but the person who's doing it, that's you, has completely evolved.
Okay, this next part is maybe the single most important idea to grab onto here. That discomfort you're feeling. It is not a sign that you're failing or breaking down. It's not the stereotypical buy a sports car midlife crisis. So let's reframe this and look at what it really is.
Just think of it like this. It's a recalibration signal. It's like your internal operating system, the one you've been running on for 20 years, is sending you a notification that it's time for an update. The feeling is just highlighting a gap, a totally natural gap that's grown between the person you were when you started this whole journey and the person you've become today.
So you might be wondering, why now? Why is this happening to me right now? Well, it's not random. This feeling is actually triggered by a sort of perfect storm of factors that all tend to come together right around this point in your career. Let's take a look.
So for starters, those goals you set way back when, get to a certain salary, get a specific title, you've probably hit them. And maybe the reward wasn't quite as fulfilling as you thought it would be. At the same time, the costs of that ambition are no longer some abstract idea. They're real. You can see the relationships you neglected, the hobbies you dropped. And then, to top it all off, your career horizon isn't this infinite thing anymore. You can actually see the finish line, and that makes you seriously question how you want to spend the rest of your time.
Because this feeling is so uncomfortable, our immediate instinct is to just diagnose it and find a quick fix. Anything to make it go away, right? But the problem is, these knee-jerk diagnoses are almost always wrong, and they can lead us to make some pretty destructive decisions.
Okay, let's break down this table because it's so important. First, we think, oh, I must be depressed. And while they can definitely overlap, what you're feeling is also a legitimate philosophical reckoning. It's not just a chemical issue. Second, we think, it's this job, I just need a new one. But 9 times out of 10, the gap is inside of you, and trust me, it will pack its bags and follow you right to the next company. And third, we treat it like a 5-alarm fire. We feel this intense need to make a huge, dramatic change right now. But that urgency, it's a trap.
And this just nails why that emergency response feels so good in the moment. See, quitting your job or deciding to move across the country replaces that really hard internal question of, what do I truly want, with a much easier practical question like, how do I update my resume, or how do I find a moving company? The logistics of the big change drown out the internal reckoning, but they don't actually solve it. And that original question, it'll just be waiting for you patiently once all the dust settles.
Okay, so if all those knee-jerk reactions are the wrong way to go, what's the right way? Well, the path forward isn't about dramatic, quick fixes. It's about a much more thoughtful, much more internal process. And it all starts with having a little bit of patience.
So here's a much better way to approach this. Step 1, just sit with the question. Literally write it down, look at it, and just live with it for a bit before you even try to answer it. While you're doing that, start step 2. Work on separating your identity from your job. Ask yourself, who am I if I'm not a job title? If that answer feels a little thin, well, that's where the real work is. And finally, step 3. While you're doing that work, seek out some wise counsel. And this is key. Talk to people who went through this 5 or 10 years ago and have some real perspective, not your buddy who just rage quit his job last week.
If you take one thing away from this, please let it be this. Do not blow up your life on a Tuesday. The feeling of urgency is very, very real. I get it. But it does not demand an urgent response. You have commitments to your family, to your finances, to your colleagues, and they all deserve really careful consideration. Making a massive impulsive change just to escape the discomfort is an expensive mistake, and the true cost can take years to really add up.
So, where do you actually begin all this? Well, it's not with some grand 5-year plan or a dramatic resignation letter. Nope. You start with one small, quiet, but incredibly powerful action.
That's it. Go to your calendar right now and block out 90 minutes. And I mean a real 90 minutes, not a lunch break, not between meetings, a totally uninterrupted slot of time where you can be completely alone with your thoughts. No phone, no email, no distractions. The goal here isn't to solve a single thing. It's just to create the space to be brutally honest with yourself.
And in those 90 minutes, just write an honest answer to this question. Don't edit it, don't judge it, just get it all out. Who were you 20 years ago? What did you think this path would give you? And how much of that is actually still true today? Look, the person you were back then made the best decision they could with the information they had. You are now allowed to make new decisions, better decisions, for the person you are today. Answering this question isn't the final plan, but it is the solid foundation for building a future that truly, authentically belongs to you.